Hello, Internet. This is Bonecarlos coming to you live from Derelict Watchtower. I do believe that's what this is. With me again is Nav. How you doing over there, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good. And yep, you got that name of this map a lot better down than I do.
Sweet. It pays off to do a little bit of a research beforehand, doesn't it? Players today are going to be Frankie spawning as the red Protoss. His opponent is going to be Sharpeyez spawning as the blue Zerg. Now, we have been in a bit of a hiatus from my casting, from my uploading duties, mainly because due to the fact that I moved, so I was out of internet for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm trying to get back in the thick of things. And the good old PVZ will do just that. Already we see Frankie is going to go ahead and, ooh, F you, I hate Zerg, that's all. Okay, well at least he's not, at least it's not personal, right?
It just got a little personal though, I think.
That is true. Frankie is going to go ahead and do a Forge Fast Expand, obviously with that little pylon at the forward positioning. These guys both are diamond level players, and we already see triple probe queue up from the main base of Frankie. How come, LOL? It looks like Sharpeyez is just you know, just enjoying his existence at the moment. He's going to go ahead and scout with a drone, and apparently Frankie thinks Zerg is cheesy as ook. Fiege. I'm not sure what that means. Do you?
No, but I don't speak whiny bitch.
Oh, there we go. Looks like the forge is down. The pylon. It looks like the pylon is gonna be part of the wall off. So it's gonna be very interesting, especially with this pylon placement. See exactly what Frankie does. Sharpeyez is doing something a little bit different. He knows that his opponent is forge fast expanding, but he's still getting that spawning pool early. He looks like he's finally getting ready to get that hatchery down at expansion, but Sharpeyez does block it off with this pylon of his own, and at the same time an extractor being taken from Frankie, so both players are just delaying their opponent as much as possible.
Yep, which is kind of funny too, just like how you and I were talking about earlier. The Protoss really likes to go double gas lately, but with this opener, the opener that no one does against me in ladder, just saying, is really okay for that, because you really only need the one gas, at least immediately, if you're going to be doing any type of gateway timing, because Warp Gate's very cheap on gas and whatnot, and once he gets one Zealot out, he can hack away at that far better than, say, 2-3 Marines.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like Frankie did cancel that probe in that natural expansion. 4 Zerglings are on the field. Now these 4 Zerglings are just for scouting purposes. They're not gonna do anything too crazy. A little bit of a cancel trick going on. They're not gonna do anything too crazy, like try to do a run by or anything of that, because 4 Zerglings could really be cleaned up by probes if micro just a little bit. I actually managed to do that earlier today when I was laddering, and a little bit of a late of a photon cannon. But it is placed down, more than likely because Frankie saw that spawning pool. If he didn't see a spawning pool, I doubt he would have put down that photon cannon. Next is about 3/4 of the way done. So both players are trying to go down their respective tech paths, delays and all. 3 hatcheries down. Sharpeyez still hasn't taken any sort of extractors just yet, and these 4 lings are just going to go ahead and poke at the front and see what they can see.
Yeah, which is the general thing, Cybercore, Gateway, Forge, but they do get inside here. Not expecting them to do much damage like you were saying, though, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, if they can nibble a probe down and get 1 probe kill, that's pretty much a win in and of itself. And 1 Zergling does manage to survive with 1 HP. They can go ahead and scurry on back, regen their health, and pretty much what they're doing is just scouting. See if there's anything crazy going on, like some Stargate tech, maybe some quick DT, or just quick tech in general. But with that extra extractor that he managed to steal, I'm not sure exactly what these Zerglings are doing there. Really, to be honest with you.
Yep. But, well, he did manage to, like you said, kill a probe, and he pulled off, I want to say, at least 4 or 5 probes there, and they were off for a good, at least 5 seconds. That was at least probably, I'd say, 1 to 1.5 trips for mining for those, so a little bit of mining time lost, too.
Yeah. You do have
just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. And this Zergling is still alive, going to go ahead and just trot around the main base of Frankie. Well, at the same time, back at home base, Sharpeyez is doing something very interesting. He's finally getting down his double extractor at his main base, but no mass queens. Generally, when you see a gasless opening like this, the Zerg player likes to go a lot of queens just for defense up against any kind of air. But since he did take that early extractor, he scattered around, so no extractors at the natural expansion. He feels very safe, so he's doing a very natural thing, is just droning heavily, very heavily. Right now the harvester count is equal, but that's just because the queens are just popping, And in 2 or 3 minutes, that drone count could double very, very easily.
Yep, you're very much right. I can. I just saw a little bit of mind games over here, though. He had a Stargate down, kind of where this Overlord's placed near the natural, opposite side of the gas. He had a Stargate down, and it was building for a while. And I'm not quite sure if he saw the Overlord and he knew it was there, canceled the Stargate, and just wanted to switch it up and add these gateways. But a little bit of mind games going on here. We'll see if it pays off because he threw down 1, 2, 3, 5 more gateways. So essentially, he's up on 6 gateways, and he's got his +1 coming down. So I'm thinking we may have a 6 gate. Oh nope, 7 gate push.
Seven, the good old 7 gate push. And yes, the Overlord is just at the extreme edges of the vision of Frankie, so he will be able to. That's pretty much what happened. The initial pylon at the forward positioning is happening, and they're gonna go ahead and just attack into the third. No spine crawlers there, just one spine crawler there, down for Sharpeyez. Looking at the harvester count, 44 to 37, nothing else in production. So this could be very, very painful for Sharpeyez, especially if he doesn't prepare. I'm not sure exactly if Frankie does have the economy to support more than 2 or 3 warp ins out of these warp gates. But you were saying 7 warp gates, only one base is fully saturated on the minerals. The other one only has a few probes on the minerals, so this is going to be interesting. Heavy Zealot push is going to come within a couple of minutes, and really Sharpeyez is actually finally putting down 4 spine crawlers there for defense, completely walls it off. He got a couple of queens there for transfuses. Only one has enough energy, but this third base, all alone, it will be taken down. It's already been spotted by Frankie.
The thing I'm kind of confused on though is that, well, I guess this is something that kind of can't really go without saying, but he really should take some of these probes that are on his main, say anything above 16, and transfer them down to his natural. That way the main doesn't get mined out as quickly. You're basically mining the most efficiently possible, and your newer base is getting mined out a little faster than, say, your old base.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
But I think anger can sometimes cloud your gameplay here a little bit. So this guy is not macroing as heavily as he could be. So if this game were to fail because of that, I would say that would be the reason why. Which we've all had that happen to us. We've all done it. You know, let our macro slip in a push or a timing wasn't as strong as it could have been.
And definitely. And right now he did manage to take down this hatchery, but really all that was lost as a probe got actually taken down in the exchange as well. Hatchery was lost, a queen was lost, nothing too crazy. There wasn't any drones there, and now here come the mass spine crawlers there for defense. Guardian shield goes up. I do not think they're actually useful for up against these spine crawlers, since they are, I think, technically melee.
I don't know if they're counted as projectiles or not. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, 1 spine crawler, 2 spine crawlers do go down. Hydralisks on the field, so Sharpeyez managed to save up enough gas to pull out a couple of Hydralisks. Creep thread non-existent. He needs to pull back if he gets caught out of position, especially with the slow Hydralisks on top of a time bomb from that mothership core. Those Hydralisks will go down very, very quickly. But it looks like the defense has been held, and Sharpeyez could freely expand again to this. Under the third base, he does have plenty of larvae there. Total of 7 at the moment. Here comes a second push by Frank. He's going to go ahead and push forward. Those Hydralisks there are going to be very, very sneaky. Slip past the force field. The queen does manage to get it down. And right now, Frankie has himself a nice little contain. He should expand at the moment. He does have a lead, but he's too busy just poking and prodding, warping in. He should have canceled this warp in, not even done it, and just expanded for the got a third expand. I mean, if you're ahead, take the lead even more. Put your opponent that much further behind. I know I saw Spire going down. Mutalisks are going to come up into the game any second now. But right now, here come the Spine Crawlers. Here come the Force Fields. Guardian Shields. Hydralisks need to get out of there. There goes that Time Bomb. This doesn't look good for Sharpeyez.
It does, but it doesn't. But you got to think to yourself, though, Hydralisks are really, really good against gateway units. What does he have mainly? All of gateway units. And I'm 100% agreeing with you on the fact that warp-in, with the exception of maybe that Stalker, should have been canceled because, like, I'd rather get a third base down a Nexus as opposed to having 4 slow zealots.
Yeah, definitely true. I mean, especially when you got a nice little contain, especially up against a Zerg player. If you're holding a Zerg player to 2 bases, skip a warp in, get yourself a third expansion, and just a macro up like crazy on the drone count. He's completely saturated on his natural expansion. His main is getting mined out fairly quickly, and here come the emergency pylons being put down 5 at a time. The Twilight Council is down, but that's mainly for upgrades. He has double Forge going, so everything working out so well. Here comes the Hydralisk. They're going to go ahead and push forward a Time Bomb. Again, they're going to be caught out of position. No creep, no nothing. Looks like the Hydralisk managed to pick off the Mothership Core. Let's see what happens. This is going to be a very tight battle. Zerglings are going to go ahead there to nibble away at the Stalkers. The Hydralisk count just too high. Stalkers are being forced to retreat. No blink. What the hell?
He's building 2 robos in the middle of the field. The only reason I do like this for one, well, at least in one way, is that it caused some of those Hydras to fire at that structure, which he did lose. I'll say that,
No
but it
cancel on that.
kind of distracted his him from his army a little bit. The only reason though why these Hydras aren't doing better than they could be is that the Protoss player has level 2 weapons and level 1 armor, and the Hydras have just 1 weapons. So it's that upgrade advantage that's mitigating the fact that they're kind of a hard counter to gateway units.
Exactly, and the damage is being felt by those upgrades. I mean, this is pretty much an even fight at the moment when it really shouldn't. Especially, and what Sharpeyez should have done is does he even have a Roach Warren? He should have used a Roach Warren. That he does have one. He should have used a couple of those roaches just to tank some of that damage, some of that fire from those stalkers, and just mix up the unit count a little bit. I mean, he was going pure Hydra for such a long time that roaches would have, I think, would have tipped the scales in his favor and would have saved a lot of gas that he could have used for Mutalisk and done some bit of harassment since that Spire is already up.
Yep, and his main is just getting the Zerg player's main is just getting more and more mined out right now. I mean, those Hydras, they did pretty well, but the fact that they're behind on upgrades kind of kept them from really being as cost efficient and powerful as they could be. You know, those roaches would have helped out quite a lot with that. And the weird thing too is that he's getting an immortal. He's getting immortals when we haven't seen any roaches yet. It's pure Hydra. Immortals are quite terrible against Hydra, so I'm kind of questioning that move just a little bit here, you know. But you know, I feel like he's got that kill look in his eyes from the hatred of Zerg that he expressed earlier. So I guess I feel like that's clouding his decision making a little bit.
I mean, it's definitely there's no reason, especially to put those robotics facilities right in the middle of the map. I mean, they're just easy pickings. If Sharpeyez manages to break this contain, that's pretty much GG, especially with no expansion behind it too. Here comes one evolution chamber is down, and these evolution chambers haven't been used one bit except for that +1 melee or air upgrades. And here comes the Protoss army is in full retreat. A single force field does absolutely nothing. Nice concave on these Hydralisks. The Stalkers there are getting a nice little surround of their own. This Overseer sees everything. Hydralisks are being decimated. No more Zealots there to be able to do that quick damage that needs to be done on those Hydralisks. But again, the upgrades prevail yet again.
They really do, because, like, for instance, the Protoss had a much better concave despite having a hard counter to what they were going. I really would like to see the Zealots in the front, though.
I mean, there's just a lot of small errors that Frankie is doing here. Unit positioning, not expanding when you should. I mean, his main base is going to be mined out in just a few minutes. He has oversaturated and his natural expansion. Sharpeyez is just holding these attacks. What I would love for him to do is just build some Mutalisks just to harass. I mean, he's got a macro hatch. He has enough larva, and if he saved up a couple of waves of Hydralisks, he could have 6, 7, maybe even 8 Hydralisks at the unprotected base of his opponent.
Yeah, that's incredibly vulnerable. But right now, I think he's just trying to. I think Sharpeyez is just trying to survive, and Frankie's just going for the kill. Which, I mean, sometimes this is what you want to do when someone overcommits, or, well, if they end up winning, I guess it's not overcommitting, but committing an incredibly large amount of resources to this, because we've all lost here and there to people that just wouldn't stop after you held them off twice, and that third desperation wave will get you.
And speaking of desperation wave, it looks like this is going to be it. The Hydralisk count is way too high. A lot of these Hydralisks are in the back. They're not in range. They finally be forced to pull back. Sharpeyez just really needs just to hold, get those Mutalisks in the game. But it looks like he's just continuing with this Hydra production. Soon he's gonna run out of minerals, and I don't know what's going to happen. Both of these players are wow, natural. The main base of Frankie is mined out. Now he has nowhere to go. There's gonna be 40. There's gonna be 47. There's gonna be 47 probes on one. Oh, look at this.
He is correct. He has better upgrades, but Better upgrades kind of only even things out when you're going up against the unit that hard counters the unit that you're
Exactly,
using.
and I would have to say, 2 Colossi with an extended thermal lance would have just devastated this Hydralisk army.
He really only has himself to blame here. I mean, I don't mean to be particularly critical, but with that much bad manner, I feel like I really need to point these
Yeah, no,
things
I mean
out.
definitely, he lost his own game. He did a great job with that early aggression, taking out that third. Beautiful contain. I would have actually liked to see him get a couple more sentries in there to save on minerals, one, and then two, be able to force field off this huge ramp. To force field off that huge ramp and use those minerals to expand. Or Colossi. Those two options would have just won him the game, but instead, he kept pushing when he should have. He kept throwing away units. I mean, looking at the resources lost tab, we see they're pretty much even. They're off by about 1,000 or 10,000 minerals, I believe. And whenever you're on equal footing, that just pretty much tells you it's a close game. And close game this was not. Frankie just threw it away, lost it. Well, that was it for this replay. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I did. This is a great game, even though Protoss played terribly, and I'm a Protoss at heart. But let us know if we could do anything to make these more enjoyable for you. Also, if you guys want us to cast one of your own replays, feel free to upload them to one of the major replay sites. Drop.sc is very popular. GG Tracker is also getting up there as well. That's it for me. Do you have any parting words of wisdom, Nov?
Don't make immortals when he has Mass Hydra, please. Please don't.
Words to live by. The more you know. That's it. I am out of here.
Have a good one.